At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Ansony Sieh. A pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia. Thank you for joining us. Share the broadcast with somebody. The nation Liberia remains our focus. This time we are talking about the peaceful transfer of power in Liberia, something that is significant. Talking about our democratic credentials as a country. Liberia once again set another good example in Africa and in the whole world. by democratically electing another president, and the president getting inaugurated, and that we have had a successful and smooth transfer of power. This is historically remarkable. It has become a history now of the nation Liberia, and it is a good piece of history. And we as Liberians should take significant pride in that. For we know when that is not done, what happens? We are all living witnesses of the failure of a democratically elected president transferring power to another democratically elected president. We saw it, we endure it, we paid the highest price for it. And so we know that to be true. Joseph Boakai is now president of the Republic of Liberia. Joseph Boakai in 2017 was not successful. When he was not successful against President Weah, he did the right thing. He gave a concession speech that was gracious enough, and the transfer of power was smooth. Weah received a smooth transition from the Boakai-Koung administration. And so we are to follow that good example by transferring power peacefully to Joseph Boakai when he too was unsuccessful in the recent election. Liberia as a nation has had peaceful transfer of power. When you heard about Joseph G. King Roberts, Stephen A. Besson, Daniel E. Warner, and on, those were peaceful transfer of power. That history is our history as a nation. That history got aborted between the time of William, what's his name, Tobot, and Samuel Doe. When Samuel Doe and others launched a deadly coup against then President William R. Tobot, and he was assassinated, and Doe will become a military leader in Liberia, and later will go to an election that many people believe that he rigged that election. And so Charles Taylor and others felt that he could not hold on to power because he was not democratically elected. And that was when this peaceful transfer of power in our nation's history got aborted and disrupted. And after many transitional governments after the other, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf will be elected democratically, serve 2 terms, and will not contest, and Joseph Boakai will run on the party's ticket, Unity Party's ticket, and Boakai was unsuccessful, and that history of Liberia was resumed, transferring power democratically to an elected president. Boakai did that, and Weah has just done that. But today's topic is unique. We will be talking to you today on the Weah-Boakai transition and the Boakai-Koung's inauguration. Boakai meaning Joseph Boakai and Jeremiah Koung, who today got inaugurated as president and vice president of the Republic of Liberia, respectively. There are a lot of juicy things I'm bringing to you in this presentation. And so if you are just joining the broadcast, I want to say welcome, and I cannot welcome you enough. And I will only ask that you do me a favor by sharing this broadcast with somebody to be part of the discussion. This will be analytical, it will be informative, and it will be nationalistic. And so, folks, talking about the Weah-Boakai transition, President Weah, we all can criticize him I will always not hesitate to say he took the presidency for fun and he was just merrymaking. Be that as it may, though, that he was only more about the purse of the presidency and how he will enjoy himself and resuscitate himself. No man is entirely bad. No human is entirely bad. There's so much good in every one of us, just as we also do possess the capacity to do wrong or to do evil or to do bad. President Weah exhibited some things that are presidential, I must say. And one of such things is the peaceful transfer of power. He constituted a committee immediately after losing the presidency for the smooth transfer of power. And that is not only about a concession speech he gave, he went further by giving even a farewell speech. And his farewell speech was also a good speech. He was brief and he was concise. He thanked the nation. He thanked the people of Liberia. He appreciated the opportunity given him. And he also talked about what he inherited and what he was turning over. According to him, he inherited, economically speaking, a very weak nation. And according to him, he has passed on a stronger nation, economically speaking. So President Weah made this point by talking about the economic numbers, talking about money. According to President Weah, he inherited $94 million in our reserve, according to him. And yet, he is leaving $222 million in our reserve. Now, if President Weah is accurate with the numbers, that he inherited $94 million and in the reserve, and is leaving in the reserve $222 million, according to him, that is an increase of 136%. He increased the reserve, according to him, by 136%. If the numbers are accurate, then that is significant. I don't know. For me, it is not as significant. Looking at the nation Liberia, to have a reserve of 222 million, it is pitiful for me. But given where he took it from, somebody will say, well, he did well. And I'm not going to argue with you. Because if the numbers are accurate, yes, then he moved the numbers upward. And so that might be a plus. But whether or not that plus is significant and can have a significant impact on nation building, on the economic health of the country, is where I don't see it whatsoever. For a nation of over 5 million people that has so much economic challenges and development needs and social needs, to be boasting of a $222 million in its reserve, it is as pitiful as I can imagine. I don't know about you. Another thing President Weah said too is that he had inherited $7 million in our consolidated account. In other words, the cash money that he made in the government account was just $7 million United States dollars. Wait a minute. So was President Weah right then when he said he inherited a broke nation? But here's the thing that is funny about it. President Weah is prepared to tell us now that he inherited just 7 million United States dollars in a national reserve. But when he was taking office, and for the entire time he stayed in power, President Weah did not see it in his wisdom to tell us the amount of $7 million was what he inherited. But today, or just yesterday, he was prepared to tell us. The question is why he chose willfully to hide what was a significant piece of information that the Liberian people had deserved to know. In other words, President Weah failed to inform Liberians that he had only inherited $7 million United States dollars as cash money in the government consolidated account when he took over. And he stayed in power for 6 years. His government was never clear on this subject. The question is, why? Was he playing politics? So these are the kind of games these politicians do. You know, these are the kind of games they play. And that is why, as a people, we should be critical. We should hold them accountable. We should demand answers. We should demand truth from them. Because when they willfully hide this kind of information, they have a hidden agenda for doing so. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf intelligently supported George Weah. George Weah has graded Ellen Johnson Sirleaf government as, performing up to 80%. He felt that Ellen was gracious to him. So he felt that Ellen needed to be protected. The failures of Ellen needed to be hidden and not made known to the Liberian people, in as much as Ellen was giving him or had given him what he needed. That was all Weah had cared about. And yet, he came on the mantra of change for hope. But President Weah will not be a change man when it comes to truth telling. Why? He chose willfully. His government relented for 6 years to tell that it's true. But this is why they are telling us now. And so here is the deal. Those numbers must be audited. We must get to know, we must get to the bottom whether President Weah and the CDC government telling us the truth. They couldn't tell us 6 years ago that they inherited $7 million United States dollars, but they are prepared to tell us now. So let us get to know if he's telling the truth. The transition is smooth, no problem with that. But we as a people deserve to know the truth. This nation has long since been a broke nation. So telling the truth should not be a problem. But there are some obvious reasons our leaders will not tell us the truth. And my Bible tells me the truth will always set you free. And maybe that is why we are yet to be set free economically and politically. Because our leaders don't tell the truth when it comes to the state of the nation. So the numbers that President we are announcing now, that he increased, or the CDC government increased our national reserve from 94 million to 220 million, 222 million, that must be investigated. We want the incoming government to verify the accounts and come clear. Boakai promised that he will govern differently. He promised us transparency and accountability. Transparency and accountability demand that you tell the truth. So it is on the new government now to tell us whether or not President Weah is telling the truth. Thank God this new government has promised that it will audit. We need a decisive, robust, and speedier audit that will tell us in clear terms, in terms of the numbers, that the numbers being released by the CDC government, that the numbers are accurate, that they inherited $7 million and left us $40 million in our consolidated accounts, and also in $222 million in our reserve. So here is the deal. Let's verify whether President Weah and the CDC, they are up to some game here. According to what I know and been told, the Liberian government spent about 25 million United States dollars a month. That includes salary and other things. I am also told that the CDC government owes civil servants 2 months. That is the month of January and December. If that information is true, holding all things constant, how much did they say they left in the consolidated account, the cash money that they left in the account, in the operational account of the government? According to President Weah, is $40 million. Okay. If you owe civil servants for 2 months, assuming that information is accurate, and that is like saying the government is yet to take care of business for 2 months, and the government money operation costs or operational costs is about $25 million. 25 plus 25 is just about $40 million, $50 million. So if you owe civil servant for 2 months, and if you are living in an account, in a consolidated account, just $40 million, if we should pay the people, will we actually be left with $40 million? Is this government trying to play a game here? Is the government leaving our accounts virtually empty? And did the government intentionally and willfully decide not to pay civil servants so that it will have some money to announce as money left in the consolidated accounts? Can that be a possibility? Because assuming if they have paid civil servants for the 2 months we've been told they owe the civil servants, and if you subtract whatever the total is from their $40 million they are boasting of leaving in the consolidated accounts now, more than likely they will be left with less than $7 million. So they then will be able to show that the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration left more money in the amount of $7 million than what the CDC is telling us today. That might be a possibility. So you see why they don't tell the truth. Now you see why we need to be critical. Now you see why we need to demand answers. You have now paid civil servants. You have now paid some of your domestic debts in millions. The Liberian government domestic debts alone is far above $800 million. Hello? So if you owe ever 800 million or more, and you are leaving 40 million, do you actually want us to believe that you are leaving money in the account? You are leaving us just empty-handed. Those are empty coffers. That is my explanation. That is my understanding. That is the critical analysis of what the president is telling us. I will leave the rest with the Boakai administration to do the needful. Verify the numbers, conduct a speedy audit, and tell us whether or not the CDC government is telling the truth that they are leaving in our consolidated accounts $40 million United States dollars and in our reserve $222 million. We demand the truth. The Boakai administration must be different, must not behave like the Weah administration that told all well we inherited just a broke economy, and 6 years later now you want to tell us what you inherited. Pitiful indeed. But here is the beauty of it all. Liberia has transitioned from one government to the other. It is a beautiful thing. Just say Boakai, like many Liberians, came from a humble beginning. He had been on a journey. He was despised by many. He never stopped. And today, Boakai is president of the Republic of Liberia. If there's anything Boakai has taught us, is that whatever you want, irrespective of your age, the challenges and the odds, if you can walk in the words of Martin Luther King, just walk. If you can crawl, just crawl. If you can run, just run. And so I would think Boakai was just crawling. And he kept crawling and crawling and crawling. And at the right time, he got help along the way because he was consistent and consistently crawling to the presidency. And he got that help that he needed. And Boakai finally got to the finish line. Today, Boakai is president. And we are talking about a Weah-Boakai transition today. So talking about a transition, the First Lady, Madam Weah, also gave a farewell speech. And her speech was brief, as about a little over 3 minutes. I think that is how it should be. The leaders should not be wasting our time with long speeches, because these speeches, if you compare those speeches with the things they've done for our country, you know that they don't move the needle. And so we do not need to be bored with useless and long speeches. We do not deserve that. We need concise, straight to the point speeches where they don't waste our time whatsoever. That is what we deserve. What we need bold policies that are transformative. We need implementation for programs and policies. Those are the things we need. We need shovel-ready programs and projects. We need them to be able to find alternative sources of raising revenue, raising our budget to pretty close to $10 billion. I mean, $10 billion, yes, I said that right. These are the things we need. We don't need speeches. You don't need a speech to build a road. You don't need a speech to build a school. You don't need a speech to pay civil servants to increase their salary. You don't need a speech to do the things we need to do as a country. You don't need a speech. Don't get me wrong. Speeches become necessary when a leader have that oratory skill to inspire and move his people on a nationalistic note, telling the truth about the challenges of today and the opportunities that we have, and how that leader with the people together, collectively, will move through those challenges, not forgetting about telling the truth. The people will come around, and such speeches don't need to be long. I will get to what you are thinking. And so today, we can say Madam Weah also delivered a speech. She talked about how she's not born or was not born. She was not born on the shores of Liberia, but she got connected to the spirit of the people of Liberia. And she enjoyed the warm welcome and reception in the nation Liberia. She committed herself to education and women issue. She talked about how she built an institution called City of Hope. And the goal there is to train and teach the next generation of Liberians, especially the young people, men and women, that will be able to take Liberia toward the new destiny. And she said, though she's leaving, she will never forget the privilege that was given to her by the people of Liberia. And in whatever way she can be a help, she will be able to help. Claude Marie Weah gave a speech. Hey, politics aside, it was a beautiful thing to see the First Lady and the President leaving and giving farewell speeches after a peaceful transfer of power. This should be how we do it as a people. We have all the time to criticize their stewardship. We have all the time to checkmate their wrong, all the wrongs that they did. We have time to do so. But this peaceful transfer of power is a significant piece in our nation's life. And we must cherish that. We must preserve that. We must sustain that. And that has been exhibited in this transition, and that is a significant thing. We will get to all the things they did. We want the First Lady to be audited. Oh, she must be audited. She was given money. Taxpayer dollars were given to this woman. And she was doing her thing, carrying on projects. She must account for stewardship. The incoming government, now the incoming government, now the new government must be able to verify all these things and do all the necessary orders that they promise, so that we can know what they did, how they did it, and if they cheated the Liberian people, and if they stole from the Liberian people, then they must be held accountable. We can talk about all that, and those are the things the new administration must do for the people of Liberia, to set an example and put into place a deterrent that when you come to public service, you must come to serve the people, to improve their human and material condition and meet their social needs, and not to resuscitate yourself economically, become a bigot and a mass wealth at the displeasure and the detriment of the Liberian people. We must put that checkpoint in place so that when people are coming to power, they understand that it's not a place to get rich, it's a place to serve your nation and exhibit your citizenship and your patriotism. That is what it should be for. That is why the new administration now, as it has taken over the mantle of authority, must do what it promised the people of Liberia. And so with that, at this time, focus on Liberia in today's continuation of our special inauguration coverage. Today's is Inauguration Day in Liberia. We started our work as a media institution, doing the best we can, given the limited resources we have in our capacity or to our disposal. We are doing what we can to inform you, the Liberian people. We want to congratulate President Joseph Boakai and Vice President Jeremiah Boakai-Koung, who got inaugurated today. Joseph Boakai now is the 25th president of the Republic of Liberia. There you have them with the nation's flag right behind them. We say congratulations to them. It is about time for them to serve the nation Liberia, and we can only hope that as you are coming to power, you will serve us well, you will serve us diligently, and you will serve us in truth and honesty. That is what the Liberian people actually deserve. And so we want to say it has been, or it was, a very good transition if you look at the politics of it. If you look at the accountability side, there are so many things that we can improve on, and I will be the first to say so. So during this transition, I can say it was historic. We saw 3 presidents of Liberia on the same stage. President Weah right there, and Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, 2 former presidents, raising the hands of now President Joseph Boakai. This is something that is not common in some African countries, and some of you know about coup d'etats in the area like Mali. You also saw similar thing in what's the place, or Guinea next door. So for us as a country to be on the trajectory of peaceful transfer of power, to see that we have living former presidents, it is just historic, and we Liberians should take pride in that. That said, let's get to the politics of this all. And that is the part that I like more. Let's leave the historical aspect of it. Let's leave the proud moment. Let's get to the things that we must do to move this country and juice this thing off of the politics of it all. So we talk about the numbers. Joseph Boakai took office today. Joseph Boakai, the inaugural ceremony was organized. The organizer did their best. There are so many things that we can criticize, but the event, the ceremony was colorful. There are a lot of things that could be done right that were not done right, and I will be the first to say it. We all should want the best for our country. We all should want that we show our best and nothing but our best as examples to our country. So what are some of the things we saw? The first thing I want to critique here is the fact that, well, maybe I should continue with the positives first. There is Joseph Boakai, elegantly attired as a proud African, in an African device shirt. This is the president of a black nation, Liberia, the nation that has been and should continue to be a beacon of hope for Africa, especially when it comes to democracy. Joseph Boakai took office today, and he exemplified quite clearly that he is a true African. He projected Liberia as an African nation that takes pride in what is Africa. There you have him with his hat, African hat, and his African shirt. And I saw President Weah is right there, former president, in a purple suit. Isn't that colorful? And you have Ellen Johnson Sirleaf there too. I would think what she's wearing is also African. She has a thing that she always carrying, which is her unique identity. I mean, you can't beat it. Isn't that a positive? That is a positive. And I will be the first to talk about that. But I want something I must criticize of. The program was too long, and we can agree this program should be shortened. President Joseph Boakai's speech was long. I will be the first to say that. I believe it was about 24 pages. They should have written a short version of the speech that he could read in at least 10 minutes max, period. And the long version of the speech, they could direct us as a people where to go and read it. And if I were Joseph Boakai, I would have read even a one-page speech and read the people of Liberia and our friends to go to the longer version of my entire speech because of time. Look, inauguration speeches, there's the expectation is the time, is the first opportunity for the leader becoming president of that nation to embrace the responsibility given and to inspire the nation, give the nation hope, and inform the people of the challenges. And that despite of those challenges, our collective effort as a people, and that with that leader's leadership, Liberia or a nation or that nation will make significant progress. All he needed to do was to just thank the former president for his stewardship, for the smooth transition, accepting his responsibility, thanking the people of Liberia who have given him that opportunity, and inspiring hope in them, and telling them that Liberia is open for business, and that the work has begun, and that he will be about transparency, accountability, and the rule of law, and that he will fight corruption, and that his government will be effective, and that the nation Liberia, the governmental affairs will be on the basis of merit, that education will be a priority, roads will be a priority, agriculture, feeding ourselves will also be a priority. That's all he needed to say, and nothing more. And the details of that speech should have been placed out on the Executive Mansion website, given to media institutions like us, and we will take our time to bring smart minds to dissect it and explain it for the Liberian people to do so. And that is why political actors or political leaders have surrogates. Now the surrogates will dissect, will digest the speech, and will go and break it down to the citizens. What was done was unfortunate. To have kept the president standing there for that long in that heat to be reading the longest of speech, that was unnecessary. And that is why he experienced that heat exhaustion that occurred at the time he was giving his speech. If only Joseph Boakai, in his wisdom, had done just what I just did, People have been brilliant and beautiful. And I see that the debate now has started. Many are blaming the speechwriter. Some of them are blaming the handlers. I will come to the defense of the speechwriter and the handlers. They did what they could. Joseph Boakai, we are told, is a man of wisdom. That he has the experience. Where did the experience go? When one writes your speech, a draft of that speech is given to you. You can reject some things in the speech. You can tell the speechwriter to shorten the speech. You should be smart enough. And Boakai, since he's been around, should know that he does not actually need the longest of speech. And so here's the thing now. Oh, now we're going to blame it on heat. Liberia has been a hot nation since 1847. We have hot presidents. We have hot leaders. Liberia is a hot nation. Liberia is not a cold nation. Most of our institutions don't have, reliable electricity or power. As a result, cooling our homes, have been a problem. So we all endure heat all year round, year after year in Liberia, for the most part. And Joseph Boakai has been in this heat for the longer part of his adult life. We are told he has been in leadership for so long. He was read by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Ellen, at her advanced age, will endure the heat and yet will deliver her speeches. So these excuses or this excuse about, well, the place was hot, the speech was too long, spare me that. They did not look at the forecast of that day. Yesterday, during one of our presentations or shows, I looked up the forecast and I announced that, it's going to be extremely humid tomorrow. I did not pay attention to these things. So he was not the only one there. There were other leaders, a good number of them about the same age of Joseph Boakai. What happened? Was it actually the heat that caused the problem? Was it the fact that maybe he was excited or there was anxiety? Maybe did he not eat something in the morning? Did he experience a situation where his eyes were turning? What happened? And during the ceremony, I saw former Defense Minister J. Bernie Simon Carr, who was found guilty of corruption by the court in Liberia, was on the stage. I don't know what he was doing there. I don't know what role he was playing. And he was on his phone. This is a man who served as defense minister for Liberia for 12 years. This is a smart man, well-educated, U.S.-trained military personnel. And he was there when, in my judgment, he should not be there, but he was there anyway to play whatever role he was given to represent Liberia. A man of such experience and knowledge felt that it was okay for him to be on his phone on stage. I don't know what role he was playing, so I will leave it at that. But I think it was unfortunate for him to have been on the stage. He was a distraction, and he was on his phone. I don't know what business he was doing there. The other thing I want to criticize or critique here is Joseph Boakai used a Bible given to him by former President of the United States, George Bush. And that alone was an excitement for some Liberians in Liberia. And I heard the cry, going wow, because they heard the name George Bush gave a Bible to Joseph Boakai. And that is the Bible Joseph Boakai decided that he will use for his swearing in to take his oath of office. A Bible given to him by a white man. That is the one that was appropriate for him. And we as a people needed to be told that. What shared nonsense. I would have loved that he would use a Bible, maybe given to him, or probably he might have gotten somewhere from Martin Luther King, maybe from Omen Tubman, or maybe the Bible of Joseph Jenkins Roberts that was left somewhere in the archive, that he will use that, or maybe a Bible from his church, Ethel Baptist Church, by one of the bishops or the pastors of that church given to him. Or maybe a Bible left behind by one of the former presidents of Liberia. How about that? Wouldn't that be nationalistic? So you are using a Bible given to you by George Bush. Does George Bush even obey the Bible and follow the teaching of the Bible or the words of the Bible? The Bible is clear. God's words in there said, "Thou shalt not kill." George Bush, I will accuse him of giving orders that led to massacre and genocide in foreign countries. George Bush. This is a man on falsehood and lies, took war to Iraq that led to the death of that nation's citizens in thousands, and that claimed the lives of thousands of United States citizens in Iraq. If George Bush had done so as an African, many Westerners would be demanding that he goes to war crime court, and they were accusing him of war crimes and humanitarian crimes. Is Joseph Boakai not experienced enough to know that? Using a Bible given to him by George Bush, who gave orders for citizens of another country to be killed in numbers, in thousands, in the name of looking for weapons of mass destructions that were never there, based on lies and falsehoods. His decision led to the killing of so many human beings. He gave you a Bible, and you think that Bible is a good Bible for you to use to take office. Anyway, Joseph Boakai said he would dance with the devil anyway. And so that's why we get. That is so unfortunate. Very, very, very unfortunate. So they could have looked up the weather and prepared accordingly, but they did not do so. And now you want to blame the Pope speech writer. The man wrote the speech. Joseph Boakai read the speech. Or if he didn't read it, I mean, I'm sure Joseph Boakai looked at the speech. He knew the length of the speech. He has been in government. This is the experienced man we are told. This is the wise old man we are told. And now you want to blame the speechwriter. Boakai approved of this speech, the length and everything. And Boakai felt that he had the physical agility to stand there in the heat to read that speech. So leave the speechwriter alone and leave Boakai's handlers alone. They have done absolutely nothing to Boakai. In the words of one old man who was asked recently about Joseph Boakai, he said, Boakai, that baby, Boakai is not a baby. He's a man. This is a leader of a nation, Liberia. Another thing I must criticize is the issue of microphone. When President Boakai was taking his oath, the microphone set aside by these organizers was dead. It was off 90% of the time. And so we never heard the president in clear terms taking his oath of office. The same thing happened when the vice president came in to take his oath of office. They had just one microphone and they could not correct the situation immediately. And they embarrassed us. How much does it cost to buy a microphone? This is an event, or this was an event that the whole world was watching. We have leaders from other nations, presidents. And Liberia as a nation could not provide a functional microphone for the president to take his oath of office, for us as people to hear him. They didn't stop to hear and extend that to the vice president. one you can't blame Waka. You can blame the organizers who did not represent us well and carry on this very poor organization. Now there's debate about why they didn't do it in the hall. I like the fact that they did it in the yard. As a person like that, the yard is spacious. It provided the opportunity to admit, about a good number of people. The event was well attended. That's one of the good things. It was well attended. A lot of Liberians showed up. They participated in the democratic process. I like that. That was a good thing. We have to like our own. We have to participate in our own. No one can do that for us. I like that part. So what are we seeing now? We're seeing supporters of Joseph Boakai are giving excuses for what Boakai experienced. These are the individuals who criticize, like me too, the former president Weah. These are the individuals who bullied seditions over the 6 years and called them all manner of names because they were defending their guy. They were holding them accountable because they were making flimsy excuses, unjustifiable excuses for some poor things that were happening. And Unity Party now has become the second version of CDC, making all the excuses right now. These things are inexcusable. We should hold each other accountable. Those who supported Boakai should be the ones who should be first to hold Boakai accountable when things go wrong. If we hold our leaders accountable, they will make the necessary adjustment. So, a speech of this nation, an inaugural speech, or some people might call it inaugural address, usually is shorter than the State of the Nation's address. The State of the Nation's address is the occasion at which a president gives an entire year account, a comprehensive account of the state of affairs of the nation. Such speech is usually long because that leader must talk about all the sectors in the nation. If Boakai is falling off from heat exhaustion, from just an inaugural address, will Boakai be able to withstand the time required to give an accurate account of a year's stewardship, in which he must touch all the sectors in the nation? What should we expect? So, the presidency is a stressful job. As a president, you are dealing with competing interests. Sometimes you're dealing with crises and scandals. And sometimes you are dealing with blunders from your government. And why all these competing interests and stressful situations are going around, you as a leader must compose yourself to be the leader. And people look up to you for direction. You must be looking at competing interests in the midst of limited resources and making tough choices and decisions. And you have advisors who are advising you, and you have to be able to listen to what they tell you. And after listening to them, you must make a decision as to what is best for the nation. It can be a daunting thinking process, a stressful process. Sometimes protest is going on and you don't like the idea, and people are protesting about salary, and there's another emergency situation on the other hand, and you as a leader, must stand firm and make decisions about this and that, and also find time to encourage a nation. Will Boakai be able to stand the vigor of the presidency, the stressful situation of the presidency, and stand on his feet and deliver a speech to calm the nation? Inaugural address should be the simple one. That is not a time for someone to be falling off because of heat. Liberia has been a nation of heat since 1847, and Boakai has been around, and he knows it than anybody else. And so, folks, what do we expect from the Joseph Boakai government? What should we expect? The thing is, Joseph Boakai is not a man of many words. Boakai, as a person, is a man of few words. So he should well know that he does not need long speech for his inaugural address. If anyone should know that, it should be Boakai, because he's a man of few words. That is why one thing that I admire of Joseph Boakai is interview, right? Anytime Boakai is interviewed, his answers are short and to the point, and I don't hesitate to say that. So this experienced man of few words, and people refer to him as the elderly statesman and wise man, would not know that he needed a very short speech. Even Obama, who is a great orator, very good at giving speeches, the inaugural address was boring. And many people criticize it. And Obama, that was not the best. So we were not expecting an inspirational speech, even though that is what I would love to see from a leader, because this is when you make your first impression as a leader. But unfortunately, it's not always the case. Boakai, knowing Boakai, and that Boakai is a man of few words, should not be approving a long speech written by him. Boakai had every power to say, shorten that speech. I need 2 pages speech on it. Or since you are writing this long speech, summarize it into 2 pages. That's the one I'm going to read. And then the long version of it, or the details, will be placed on the website and released to the media, so that the media will be able to read and know what I'm saying to the nation and what I will do. If anyone should have known that, that one person should have been Boakai. For Boakai to not know that, or for Boakai to have failed to know that, Boakai let himself down, and he caused himself what others are considering as embarrassment. I listened to someone was telling me and said, well, this was an embarrassment. Somebody said, well, that is not an embarrassment. Let know what happened. Well, was it actually heat? They said that he's not well. We don't know. Only the doctor can tell us. But Boakai, according to the speaker who visited Boakai's home after the entire thing, he spoke and said that Boakai is well. I saw a Facebook post from one of Boakai's surrogates, someone who is close to Boakai. He said Boakai is okay. I hope they are saying this now because a medical professional has said so. We want the president to be well. We have one president at a time, and he is the one. We need him to be well. We need him to be strong. We need him to lead this nation. Mr. Boakai ran on the message of rescue. He came to rescue Liberia. If there is one person who must rescue Liberia, Joseph Boakai is the one who must rescue Liberia, because he ran on this and the Liberian people bought it, and they have given him the opportunity to rescue Liberia. You can't come to rescue us and you are the one can't even stand the heat. Folks, if you don't like us telling the truth, providing critical analysis about where we are and where we need to go as a country, I'm sorry. Deceit will not get us there. Lies will not get us there. Justification will not get us there. Flimsy excuses will not get us there. Being pitiful or sorry for leaders will not get us there. The truth and nothing but the truth, according to the Bible, will get us there. And the truth is, this president ran unrescued. We are not yet to rescue him. He is yet to rescue us. That is what the promise us. So let him get up on his feet and let him get ready to rescue the nation Liberia. There is not time to be talking about ill health. I mean, you can't stand heat and you come to rescue people. The rescue operation that Boakai has come on is a tough rescue operation. Some Liberians are in the heat, no electricity, and you have come to rescue them. You must go to where the heat is. When somebody is drowning in a high current water or river, the one going to rescue that person must go in that danger. The danger here is economically, Liberia is hot. Boakai must rescue us economically. Politically, Liberia is hot. Boakai must rescue us in that heat. So it is hard time President Boakai start falling off because of heat. He knew of this job. He knew of the stress and the vigor. He needed to be strong mentally and physically. And he knew he needed to possess the agility and even mentally to do this job. And this is a rescue operation. The rescuer must be fit mentally, physically, any kind of way to carry on the rescue operation. And so we wish the president well, that he will be well to lead this nation, that he and his handlers and surrogates and party have come to rescue. We agree. They won the debate. Liberia must be rescued. And so as a media institution, will hold them to those words. This nation must be rescued. Whatever the rescue is, they told us, and we are aware, and we will hold them to those words. On that note, folks, this is how we will come to the end of this presentation. Here at Focus on Liberia, we brought you the topic, the Weah-Boakai transition and the Boakai-Koung inauguration. We want to say thanks for watching. This evening, Focus on Liberia will be breaking some of the best minds in the business of political issues, and we will be discussing the Boakai inauguration. You do not want to miss it. The bright minds will break everything down even better than what I have done. On that note, folks, in cyberspace, we will come to the end of yet another edition of the Hour of Politics, always hosted with me here at Focus on Liberia. We now close our broadcast with our favorite song that says, "We are all Liberians." Enjoy the sun, and until we see you again, bye-bye.
We are Liberia. Liberia is our